We are. All right, here we go. So in order to be successful for today, you need to have your brain diagram that you collected on last Friday. And you also need to have colored pencils or crayons, and you need to have a pen. A pen will show up better with all the writing that we are going to do today. So we're going to start on the front where we have lots of brain. Now, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. I'm not expecting you, obviously, to copy it down right now. Please listen. You are going to see that we are writing all over this sucker. Can we agree? So don't write in a huge fashion because we are putting tons of information on this. So make sure you are writing nice and small because there's so much information coming out. I hope that you do kind of like that we do diagrams and you can kind of see where things are. I think it's very helpful. So, what? It's like a lot. So, you're just the worst today. Here we go. So we're going to start with, do you want to start at the bottom or the top? Okay. Top it is. Top it is. All right, here we go. Cerebrum. So we're going to label cerebrum. I'm going to take out my crayons and I'm going to, cerebrum is going to have an outline of blue. So my cerebrum is all of this. So when we think of the outer layers of a brain, you know the ooey gooey sticky stuff? Like the actual lobes, right? Hello? When you think about eating brains, you think about that soft, like gushy stuff. That you don't think about eating brains often? Well, here we are. That is your cerebrum. So your cerebrum is the outside layer of your brain. That is why we're not coloring it in. We're just doing the outside. So next to cerebrum, you need to write, it is the outer layer of your brain. Outer layer of the brain. You need to write, it's only the surface. It is only the surface of the brain. Okay? It holds all of your corticalization. I'm going to spell it for you. All of your corticalization. C-O-R-T-I-C-A-L-I-Z-A-T-I-O-N. Corticalization. And you're going to write in parentheses, it's your thinking cap. Do you remember that when you were in like elementary school? And they were like, put on your thinking cap. And you're like, oh, this is so lame. Well, it's actually kind of actually true. It's your thinking cap / wrinkles on your brain. If you opened up your cranium right now, you would see that it's like wrinkly. Okay? I actually have like a little fake brain. It's obviously not a real brain. I don't know where it is. I used to have a little brain. It used to sit right over here for this very moment. Anyway, corticalization are the wrinkles of your brain. That is where you have the most neurons located anywhere in your body, and that's where all the messages get sent to. So the fact that you're thinking, listening to me and thinking about, ew, gushy brains, that all of that information is being done by your corticalization. The reason why you have wrinkles on your brain is to increase surface area. Not because it's like ushy-gushy and it's like wet. You know how when you get pretty hands? It's not because it's wet. It's because of they wanted to increase more surface space. Isn't that cool? Okay. Clearly you are not impressed. Cerebral is your next one. Cerebral. Oh, sorry. C-E-R-E-B-R. C-E-R-E-B-R-A-L. Cerebral cortex. I have a migraine still, so like my brain is just not working with me. My corticalization is just not working. So my cerebral cortex is going to be yellow. Okay, and the cerebral cortex is everything underneath your corticalization on your cerebrum. This is where all of your lobes are located. So all of your parietal lobe, your frontal lobe, your temporal lobe, and your occipital lobe are actually located in the cerebral cortex. And this is the soft, playful part of your brain. Okay, so your cerebral cortex. Okay, so it is, and we're going to write, it is underneath the cerebrum. It is underneath the cerebrum. It's made up of both hemispheres. So what are the names of the hemispheres of your brain? Left and right. Okay, so there's 2 of them. And all 4 of your lobes. And all 4 of your lobes. So both of your hemispheres, why does it keep doing that? All 4 of your lobes and all of your hemispheres, both of your hemispheres are located here. Okay, we're just going to go with that. So, here we go. Next, we're going to do the corpus callosum. What? Oh, sorry. Corpus callosum. Now, your corpus callosum is what connects both of your hemispheres of your brain. So yesterday, while we were doing our little list of what is right-brained and what is left-brained, you know how most of you are like, well, I'm in the middle, right? Hello? That's because you have a corpus callosum. A corpus callosum connects your left and right hemisphere, so they're in constant communication. Okay? So, because they're in constant communication, you have attributes from both sides. Now, we're going to meet a guy named Frank. And Frank got his corpus callosum cut because of his epilepsy. So, in order to stop him from having seizures, they cut his corpus callosum. And because of it, his left and his right hemisphere of the brain don't speak to each other anymore. And because of that, he gets information stuck on the right side of his brain that he can't say out loud. Why can't he say it if it's stuck on the right side of your brain? The left deals with language. He can't say it, but he can draw it. Isn't that just the craziest thing? It's the coolest thing. You're going to meet Frank. You're going to meet him on Tuesday. What a guy. What a guy. So the corpus callosum, we're going to write next to it, allows both hemispheres to communicate with one another. All right. So now we're going to go into the midbrain. The midbrain is actually called your limbic system, and we're going to deal with the first part of the limbic system, and that is called your thalamus. Your thalamus is the first major part of your limbic system. For me, it's going to be green. You can do whatever color you want. Okay, and your thalamus is located right here. As you can see, I'm just drawing a big green circle in the middle of it. So your thalamus is going to be regulating. We're going to do more information on the limbic system on the other side. So I'm just going to label it on this side. We're going to go into much more information about the limbic system on the other side. Is that okay? So we don't write things twice? Are we fans of not doing things twice? Yes. Alexis is not, though. She likes doing things twice. She seems very disappointed with my choice. What? Here, ask the person near you. Caroline, help your girl out. Thalamus, and then we have hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is next. Your hypothalamus is also going to be part of your limbic system, which is what we're going to spend most of our time on the other side discussing. Your hypothalamus is located right here. As you can see, I'm just going to draw in a nice orange dot. Then you have your pituitary gland, which is also part of your limbic system. I've taught you the pituitary gland. Who can raise your hand and tell me what the pituitary gland does? Don't all volunteer at the same time. Make a girl proud. What do you got, Annalise? Yeah, it secretes hormones. It's in charge of what? Sweating. Well, not quite. Not quite. No, like all of your hormones and stuff, it doesn't regulate your sweating and stuff. So, like, when you went through puberty, guess what was working in, like, full drive? That would be this one. Your pituitary gland is in charge of your endocrine system. Do you remember that word? Hello? It was last week or 2 weeks ago, people. Okay, so for pituitary gland, it is right there. It is located right in your brain. If you ever watch like House or any of those medical shows, every once in a while they always get a person with a pituitary gland problem. And these people who have pituitary gland problems, sometimes they grow to be like 15 feet tall. Okay, maybe not 15 feet tall. I mean, let's be honest, but like super huge. Or if they have a super, super slow pituitary gland, they grow to be like, they're not dwarves because dwarves are a genetic misdeed, but some people are just tiny people because of their pituitary gland not functioning, which is pretty cool. Then you have at the very bottom, you have your brainstem. Your brainstem is where, / spinal cord, is where you're going to have most of your autonomic components being regulated. So your brainstem is where most of your autonomic things are occurring. What does autonomic mean? Automatic. So who can give me a couple examples of some automatic things our brainstem is regulating? Olivia. Breathing, digestion, a lot of that is being done by your brainstem. And your brainstem is located right over here. And I'm going to use green, the light green, to identify it. This is your brainstem. And it deals with your life-sustaining functions. So that's why the higher you break your neck, okay, like so if you break your spine at the bottom, you're going to lose very little ability if you break it on like your tailbone, because everyone probably knows someone who broke their tailbone, right? Okay, but if you break above your tailbone, you're going to lose your ability to walk. If you move up your spine, breaking it causes different reactions. Like you could lose the ability to have digestion. You could lose the ability to regulate your own breathing if you're further enough up. So the higher you go on your neck, the more important and the more vital the organs are. So if you break your neck right here at brainstem, you're dead. Like nothing is going to work from here on out. As you go down the vertebrae, you have less important things, which is why when people like lose their ability of their legs, they can still live, right? But as you go higher up the brain, up the spinal cord, you will lose the ability to live. What?
Could you like drug your pituitary gland, whatever, and make yourself like grow smaller?
You can't go smaller. You can't go smaller.
Or like,
it's not like a.
Like when you're young, could you like hinder it so you don't grow?
Yeah, there's ways that you can hinder it. Like for instance, drinking coffee. Caffeine has a negative impact on your pituitary gland, which stops it from functioning, which stops releasing of hormones, so you don't grow as big. Stuff like that. Most people go the other way with it. They want an overactive one, and to get people bigger and stuff like that. You don't really want to mess with those things. I think we can agree. Doesn't sound like a good plan for success, messing around with too much of that stuff. So your cerebellum is known as the little brain. This is where most of your autonomic functions are occurring, between the brainstem and the cerebellum, which is located right here. You're going to see. Oh my gosh, I lied to you. I'm sorry, I got distracted by a question. It's right here. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Don't hate me. I'm so sorry. And I'm recording this too. Do you think I want everyone online to think I'm an idiot too? No, it's not. Cerebellum is right here. That's known as your little brain, and it kind of looks like a little brain, so it kind of makes sense. It's called that. Right over here above your brainstem, which I'm going to color over in red. See how nice that is? It's like it never happened, right? See, you never even know. Perfect. That is your medulla, which I'm going to label and put it right here. This is your medulla. medulla. That's your medulla. Okay. So it goes all the way from here to there. Perfect. That's your medulla. And then you have your pons, which we will label. And all of these we're going to go into much more information on the other side. Your pons is way up here. So that shows you where things are located anatomically correct in your brain. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to label our brain from bottom, midbrain to top brain. So I'm going to write it over here. Please copy me. So for the bottom of your brain, it goes brainstem, medulla, pons, and cerebellum. That's how it goes through your brain, is through this whole component. It goes up your brain stem to your medulla, to your pons, into your cerebellum, which is right here on the back of your brain. Okay, so it goes from your brainstem to your medulla to your pons to your cerebellum. Then you have your midbrain. Your midbrain is known as the limbic system, which we're going to go into much more detail on the other side. And in your limbic system, it's made up of the thalamus, hypothalamus, amygdala, hippocampus, and hippocampus, which we're going to discuss on the other side. And then you have your top part of your brain, which we're going to write is your cerebral cortex. And the very outer part of your brain is your cerebellum. Cerebrum. Oh my God, I'm really struggling. This migraine is killing me. So, on the top of your brain, it goes cerebral cortex, then your cerebrum. Your cerebrum is the very outer layer that we started with. What do you got? Hypothalamus, it goes amygdala. Amygdala is what it's spelled like. What do you got?
How do like Advils and stuff get into your brain to stop it?
Advil is going to go through your blood. It gets input into your blood and digested through your blood, and that's what's going to eliminate like your... So when you have a headache, by the way, did you know it's because one of your blood vessels has expanded in your brain, and it has caused tension in a part of your brain, and that's where you get your headaches from? So by doing by using aspirin or Tylenol, what it does is it kind of, it's like kind of like a blood thinner, and it thins out your blood so you have less pressure in that one spot. So the blood vessels in your brain that have expanded and causing your headache are now going to decompress, and that's why you don't have a headache anymore.
What's the difference between a blood thinner and Advil?
Blood thinners have more of what Advil already has. So Advil has a very low dose of it. Blood thinner has lots and lots of it, of the actual blood thinners. Talk to your doctor, because I am not a doctor. Like for instance, like I said, I have a massive migraine. I take this very bougie pill. It's like $16 a piece. Do you really? And it works? See, I have to take... I get a fancy pill because it takes me days to recover, and all I do is just cry in a shower. Yeah, it's the only thing that works. And then you put your face on the tile, and you're like, oh my God, it's the only thing that makes me happy. You cry and tile. Cry, flip, tile. It's the only thing that makes you feel better. You obviously know that's a real life story because who could make that shit up on the spot? Anyway, moving forward. All right, here we go. So this side, we're really going to focus on the limbic system. And the limbic system is a very big deal. So we're going to start on this side. And we're going to start with the cerebral cortex. Some of this is going to be overlap, but it's really important. Cerebral cortex. This is the upper part of the brain, consisting of two hemispheres. Parentheses, squishy stuff. Anything that looks like it would like push back, it's part of the cerebral cortex. All right, so I'm going to take a color. It's going to be green for me. I'm going to underline cerebral cortex so you know your cerebral cortex is all of this, the gushy stuff. Okay, do not color in here. That kind of looks like plasticky stuff. You saw I had a real brain. Anyone here ever dissect a brain before? Yeah, did you do a cow's brain? They're pretty cool. We only had 2 people do a cow's brain before? Seriously? Oh my God, people. What the hell do you people do in science?
We did it. Cow's eye.
Cow's eye is pretty cool. The ushy gushy stuff in the center, the little jelly. Yeah, and you just pop it and it squirts out. Yeah, thalamus. Thalamus, here we go. Now, this is new information. A thalamus relays sensory information from the lower part of your brain to the proper cortex processing that sensory information. Okay, so it is responsible for taking sensory information as it comes up the brainstem and sending it to where it belongs. So a nice, easy mnemonic device or a way to remember it, it's like the call center of the brain. Call center. Okay, so all the information goes to the thalamus, and then the thalamus sends it to wherever it's supposed to be. Your thalamus is going to be this ugly red color. And it is located right here. This is your thalamus. Bless you. That is your thalamus. I'm just going to draw a line to it so everyone is clear. Okay, and it moves all the information. As you can see, the thalamus is on the top of the brainstem, right? Top of your pons. Your medulla and your pons, and then that takes the information and sends it into the right cortex as it comes up the brain. So it has a very important role. Then underneath your thalamus, you have the hypothalamus. It is located near the thalamus and above the pituitary gland. It is responsible for sleeping, hunger, thirst, and sex. It's parentheses, your carnal instincts. So everything that we have that is controlled just like animals, okay, is all regulated by our hypothalamus. So your hypothalamus for me is going to be orange, and it is located right here. So I am starving at this moment. So what part of my brain is telling me I'm hungry? My hypothalamus. Huh? It's telling you the same thing? No, I've been eating all day. I just have a migraine.
Wait, what's in the parentheses?
Carnal instincts. Okay, so under your hypothalamus, you have a hippocampus. And it's spelled just like you think it would be. Hippocampus. It is responsible for your long-term memories. And storage of memories. Okay, and how you're going to remember it is if a hippo came to campus, you'd remember. True, not true? If the zoo brought in a hippo, wouldn't you remember that in like 5 years? Hello? No? It's cute. It's a cute little... Ugh, people. No appreciation. Hippocampus. Located, for me, it's going to be dark blue, and it is located right here. So this is where all of your long-term memories are. So for instance, what was your favorite toy when you were a kid? What was your favorite toy when you were a kid? Turn and tell your neighbor. Go. Turn and tell your neighbor what your favorite toy was. Mine was a sweatshirt that looked like a teddy bear. It was the cutest thing, and you could make it dance. It was so cute. Tell your neighbor. You don't know? Did you like to get bike or something like that? A football, basketball? I can't. 3, 2, 1. If you can recall what your favorite toy was when you were a kid, congratulations. Your hippocampus works. Who couldn't come up with a favorite toy? Your hippocampus sucks. Oh my God. I was just kidding. But you should work on it. Okay. Underneath your hippocampus, we have your pituitary gland. We've already kind of talked about it, or I've already taught you about it, but we need to make sure you know. It is in charge of the endocrine system. Parentheses, releases hormones. Okay, so we've already talked about it. For me, it's going to be yellow, and it's located right here. Some people have a really active pituitary gland. Some people do not have a very active. All right, pons is your next one. Pons plays a role in sleep, dreaming, left and right, body coordination, and arousal. For me, it's going to be a pretty blue color. And your pons is located right here. And this is where your pons is. Now, if it's on the brainstem, so here's your brainstem, it is dealing with all of your absolutely basic amenities. And as you go up through the brain, you get to more complex motions, thoughts, and components, which is why the pons is dealing with basic movements and dealing with all of that stuff. Next one is your medulla. I'm going to write it right here. Your medulla. It is all of your life-sustaining functions, like breathing, swallowing, and heartbeat. It makes sense that it's on the top of your brain stem because, I'm just going to draw a little line. I'll draw a little line to this one as well. Make sure it's very clear where these are. Making sure everyone knows. Okay, so it is on top of your brain stem, which is why if you break the neck, we know how we talked about the higher you break your neck, the more life-sustaining, more likely you are to die because of it. That is the medulla. If you break your medulla, you're immediately dead. Just die. Not Keanu Reeves. He's still alive. Christopher Reeve, he used to play Superman. Do you know him? No. No? Okay. Well, never mind. He died because he broke his medulla. He hit a tree branch on a horse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was Superman. He played Superman. If you've seen like the old Clark Kent and all that stuff, super handsome. Okay, he was killed because his medulla broke. Moving forward, I'm going to go way over here, and we're going to do corpus callosum. Your corpus callosum. It's a thick band of neurons that connect the left and right hemisphere. Okay, and we're going to see this in action with my man Frank. Yeah, it's a thick band. The D is a little far away. So it's going to be this ugly dark red color. And it is this right here, and it connects your left and right hemispheres. So that means, because we have not had our corpus callosum cut, or at least I have not been told anyone had theirs cut, our brain speaks to each other, which means information on the left side can talk to the right side, and information on the right side can talk to the left side. We're going to meet Frank on probably Tuesday. Frank is the guy who got his brain cut and can't say things that he sees with his right eye. With his left eye. It's pretty cool. He's got amazing sweater choices. He's like the greatest 80s sweater you've ever seen. It's fantastic. Alright, and then underneath that, I'm going to go down towards the bottom. And we're going to do cerebellum. Cerebellum is part of the lower brain behind the pons. It controls all involuntary movement. All involuntary and rapid, fine motor movements. Parentheses, we're going to call it the little brain, because that's exactly what it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, depending on the animal, most animals have a brain the same size as their cerebellum. Like their frontal lobe is about the same size as their cerebellum. So that means they can't process much in decision making or anything like that. They just kind of live their best life, like doing whatever feels good, looking for food all day. We have a very small cerebellum and a very large frontal lobe, which means we can do what? Speak, talk, build skyscrapers, go to the moon. We can do all these different things because we have a larger frontal lobe than, say, Toby. Toby lives his life looking for his next snack and running around the park like a crazy man. That's what makes him happy, and that's the only thing he cares about. However, this morning at 2:30 in the morning, he thought he should go out to play. And so we were up at 3:30 this morning, and we went for a long walk, and he was not happy. He wanted to go to the park. I made him walk 2 miles with me this morning as punishment for waking me up that early. I was really like 3:45 by the time we got up, but yeah. Rapid, fine motor movements. Who can give me an example of a rapid, fine motor movement? What do you got? Texting. Absolutely. You got to move your little fingers and those little boxes, and you got to move pretty quick. Some of you are really fast at it. What else is another example of fine motor movement? Kelly? Typing on a computer. Are any of you good at it? I used to be a legit boss on it, but I will tell you I've lost those skills. I used to sell all my notes in college. I used to make bank because I used to be able to write everything the professor said as they said it. So mine were like perfect transcripts. Legit. So if you have the skill, sell it, make some money, people. What else is another fine motor movement? If you play an instrument, I don't know why the flute came to mind. I was watching a Lizzo thing earlier, so maybe that's it. Okay. Do you know she's coming to Tampa next week?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm not sure if I'm going. She's at USF. Yeah. Lizzo.
Like in concerts.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't go. I don't want to see you. I'm not sure if I'm going though yet. I have to try to convince McCrae. It's like the 9th. Next week sometime. All right, so the spinal cord and brainstem. This is your last one. It's info enters the brain. This is how your information enters the brain. Is through your spinal cord / brainstem. And that, for me, is going to be pink. And that is your final one. What do you think? Aren't you glad I broke this chapter into 3 different chapters? 3 different weeks? Because this is a lot of information. Okay, so your spinal cord is what brings all the information to your brain. Are you glad we've been doing diagrams to learn this stuff? Isn't it better than just memorizing like random facts? At least hopefully you can see it all kind of builds with it. All right, I'll give you about 30 seconds to box up your See ya. Wow, we used the whole period. We use our time so efficiently. What a dream. Don't go see Lizzo because I'm sure I really want to go and I don't want to see your lovely faces. Because I want to live. It's a what?
It's on Monday.
It's on Monday. Don't go Monday. I think she'd be amazing to see.
Yeah.
She'd be so good. She's so entertaining. She's so funny, huh?
She's probably like really good like performer.
Oh, for sure. Have you ever seen her interviews and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, hilarious.
So much personality.
Oh my God. She is amazing. So don't go. I don't want to see your face. What? You are more than welcome to, but I'd rather you watch my video, my love. So that way you can hear the explanations, because I didn't talk about Lizzo the whole time. We were actually talking about like the reasons why things are different places. So I'd rather you do that, but if you want to take a picture as well, you can.
No, it's okay. I just better watch it. I didn't know if you were recording.
Oh, of course, my darling. Bye, guys. Have a good day.